Today we're gonna see how we fit all of this on a bicycle. This is like heavy. Here's how we carried over 200 pounds or 91 kilograms of sheep manure and garden potting mix on this cargo bike. See, we've recently been doing a bunch of gardening, and when I say we, I mean my wife is a great gardener and I occasionally want exposure to the outside. So I help dig things. She does the rest. Anyway, it actually wasn't all that much of a problem to get this on the bike. Here's how we did it. First, we biked to Home Depot. So now we're at Home Depot, and locking here has always been interesting because the rack is like really far away, but we've been locking in the entrance, and as soon as you're like inside, if anyone were to be sawing and like taking a circular saw or whatever grinder to your U-lock, staff would take notice. So we try, especially in the winter, to park in here because it's nice and temperature controlled, at least moderately. Then picked up the manure, cashed out, and the cashier asked us to pull up to the bulk soil area. That was when it got funny because we mentioned that we were on bicycles, so we would just pick it up with a shopping cart. She was amazed, but doubtful. We told her it was an experiment, even though we routinely use our bikes to haul everything from groceries to trees. Anyway, we did all of that and went back to where we parked our bikes inside. Step one for this is to unlock our bikes and do it in the air conditioning so that we don't struggle in the heat. Then we got loading. We wanted to disperse the load across as much of the bike as possible. So the first thing we did was load up the potting mix soil stuff on the front rack. Looking at the packaging, it says that it's just over 60 pounds, or 27 kilograms. And the rack is rated for something like 44 pounds, or 20 kilograms. But it all worked out. Again, trying to even out the load, we decided to put 2 of the 5 manure bags into the massive panniers on either side of the back of the bike in the cargo area. We probably could have fit 2 bags in each of those panniers, but we really didn't need to because we only had 5 bags to deal with in total. So the remaining 3 went on the back rack right above the rear wheel. All I'm getting at here is that I'm sure we could have loaded up even more than the 138 pounds or 62 kilograms of sheep manure that we were loading onto the back here. Here we go. We have the mix up front. We have 3 on the back. We have 1 in each of the big panniers. That totally worked. This is both ridiculous, but at the same time, actually not. Now for battening down the hatches. Or strapping things in. For the front load, I just used a bungee cord to keep the mix in place for the upcoming ride that got a little bit bumpy at times. I always seem to fall back into calling these straps ratchet straps, but that's not what they are. Because when you're dealing with loads that aren't really all that heavy, like under 200 pounds, you really don't need heavy-duty ratchet straps. Instead, these cam buckle tie-down straps have been doing the job for ages and have been easier to handle and adjust quickly, especially for cargo on bicycles. Oh, and just because the tomato cages that we picked up at the exact same time as the other things were awkwardly sized and large, we just tied them onto the top with the leftover slack from the cam buckle straps. This is strapped down lightly. We did that so that we wouldn't bend the tomato cage metal. And then we were ready. This is the first moment in time that we've ever had this heavy of a load on our Tern GSD cargo bike, and we weren't worried, but like, this looked heavy, and we didn't really know what to expect. Okay, this should work, I hope. It is heavy. All right. Looking back at it now, it doesn't look too bad from Natalia's perspective. It actually looks so stable because of the bike's naturally low center of gravity. The only wobbliness came from the fact that I had definitely overloaded the front rack above its limit. So it felt totally fine with 2 hands on the handlebars, but when I was filming with 1 hand holding the camera... So far pretty good, it's just a tad bit wobbly. Now we're gonna hit a green light. But with 2 hands on the handlebars, it was totally fine and very controllable, and I would easily do this again, without a doubt. So yeah, we biked back home, which took us slightly longer than normal because I was sure to take it easy over any bumps, just in case. But the 5-kilometer ride back with this heavy of a load only took about 15 minutes instead of our normal 10 minutes. Again, because we were being really careful. So there we go. That's how we transported over 200 pounds or 91 kilograms of sheep manure and compressed garden potting mix on this Tern GSD cargo bike. Not to mention the other errands that we ran right before this, which were a quick stop at Benjamin Moore for paint, a dollar store run for a notebook, and a bulk barn run for a little food reload. This just goes to show that even when you think that you might need a car for a trip like this, you probably just need a very capable bicycle. And for things that are less heavy than this, a regular bicycle will do just fine too. And to be honest, not having to deal with parking and traffic and the car constantly heating up when it was parked in a hot parking lot was amazing. Just the wind in our hair, or on our hats, and way too much fun. Again, always through the triangle here, the back triangle. Then this one has weird geometry, so a little bit less. But still through the triangle, it's just that there's like 50 triangles back here. Along with the cafe lock.